Late at night, with the road stretching endlessly before you, your headlights slicing through the darkness, have you ever wondered who or what might be traveling alongside you? Highways are more than just stretches of asphalt. They're liminal spaces, a no man's land where reality often feels thinner. Tonight, we're delving into haunted highways, those eerie roads where the line between the living and the dead blurs. Buckle up, because this ride promises more chills than your morning commute. And if you're already thinking, I'll just Uber next time, don't forget, ghosts don't care about your 5-star rating. Our first tale takes us to the legendary Route 66 and the story of the vanishing hitchhiker. Imagine this. You're driving down an isolated stretch late at night when you spot a lone figure by the roadside. Feeling uneasy but unable to ignore the figure's forlorn look, you pull over. The person gets in, quiet but oddly cold to the touch. They direct you to an address, but just as you arrive, they disappear. That's when you knock on the door to explain, and an elderly woman answers with tears in her eyes, saying, "That's my daughter, but she passed away years ago." It's one of the most well-known ghost stories in the world, but what makes it even more chilling is how many people across different countries report eerily similar encounters. Could this be a collective hallucination? Or are these ghostly passengers bound by some tragic fate? From Route 66, we head to a road that's as infamous as its name, Route 666, often called the Devil's Highway. This desolate stretch of road has been the site of countless paranormal encounters, from phantom trucks chasing terrified drivers to shadowy figures lurking in the darkness. One driver reported their car stalling unexpectedly, only to see bright headlights racing toward them at breakneck speed. Just as the impact seemed inevitable, the truck vanished into thin air. And this isn't a one-off story. Hundreds of similar incidents have been documented. What is it about this road that attracts such malevolent energy? Some believe it's cursed, tied to the number 666, a symbol of the devil in Christian tradition. Others think it's the long history of tragic accidents on the highway, with restless spirits lingering long after their physical forms have gone. Crossing the Atlantic, we find ourselves on Scotland's A75, often dubbed the most haunted road in Britain. Imagine driving through the Scottish countryside late at night, when suddenly you see ghostly figures crossing the road ahead of you. You slam on the brakes, but when you get out to check, there's no one there. Some drivers even claim to have seen spectral animals, like massive black dogs or phantom deer, appearing out of nowhere. One particularly eerie account tells of a horse-drawn carriage from another century that materialized in the middle of the road before vanishing completely. The A75's chilling reputation dates back centuries, with locals believing it's a place where the veil between the living and the dead is especially thin. So why do highways seem to attract so many ghost stories? Psychologists suggest that the isolation and monotony of long drives create the perfect conditions for our minds to play tricks on us. There's even a term for it, pareidolia, the brain's tendency to perceive patterns, like faces, in random objects. Combine this with fatigue and the eerie stillness of the night, and it's easy to see how the human imagination could conjure ghostly visions. But here's the twist. Many of these haunted highways follow ancient trails that have existed for centuries. Roads that were once walked by soldiers, pilgrims, and traders have seen their share of death and tragedy. Are we merely imagining things, or are we literally driving over centuries of restless history? Consider this. Multiple drivers have reported the exact same spectral figures on these roads, down to the glowing eyes and icy touch. Is this a shared delusion, or something far more sinister? Maybe highways, as liminal spaces, act as thresholds between the known and the unknown. They're places of transition, both literally and metaphorically, and perhaps that makes them uniquely suited to supernatural occurrences. After all, isn't it during moments of transition, between night and day, life and death that the extraordinary becomes possible? So, what do you believe? Are haunted highways the product of overactive imaginations, or are they truly the stomping grounds of restless spirits? Maybe the ghosts aren't on the road at all. Maybe they're in our heads. As you reflect on these tales, I'll leave you with one more mystery to ponder. Have you ever heard of the sea phantom, a ghost ship that vanishes and reappears across centuries? Click here to watch my video on Ghosts of the Vanishing Voyage, where we unravel another haunting tale of the unknown.